Guys, it's me, Nalthazar, and here I am at the finish line of Ravnica at War Glory. And so I figured what I'd do is I would show my last node for each of the options here, and you could see how I play each of the decks that I ultimately chose to use. Now, I'm using on the green-red, I'm using the Koth deck that I displayed in the previous videos. I'm using the Bolas deck, and I'm using the Tamiyo deck. So I'm going to go ahead, slot into the red-green node. I'll give commentary on some of what I'm doing and how it helps me achieve perfection, but in large part, you'll probably hear a little bit less commentary from me as I'm going to be paying a little bit more attention to what I'm doing. So out the gate, this is an incredibly unfortunate starting hand, and it's unfortunate because I don't have any of my dragons. So I'm freezing everything down because there's a 5 match at the bottom. I'm just going to make sure that I'll still be able to make a red match. That's critically important. I will be able to get some ridiculous cascades, and now I'll let the plaza come down. As for my matching here, it's important to match defensively. I'm going to be taking the red. That'll take away Sarkhan's red and black matches here. So let's go ahead, make those, and see what comes. Now I'm charging up Electro Dominance because that's just going to be stored mana that I can give to something else. So there's Avaricious. That's fantastic. Let's see if there's any particularly good options here or if they're all just mediocre. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and take the red match. That's going to get boosted mana from the plaza. So it's not quite enough for an Avaricious, but that's okay. So as we go, there's Perun, and Perun is perfect because that means that I'll be able to play the Engraths and the Electro Dominance and get cards for having played both of them. I'm going to go ahead, take the green into the Loyalty, as that's going to just keep boosting my loyalty. That's fine. And Greg matches. All right. That thing has to go for so very many obvious reasons. Never let an Avaricious dragon live. That thing is very dangerous. So usually what I do is I like to leave my opponent in a position where let's do it that way. I'll explain it in just a second, where there's no chance that I'll kill them too quickly. Now, I'm going to go ahead and use Engrath's Rampage instead of the Electro Dominance here, because I want to have the Electro Dominance be able to kill my own creature if necessary. So I froze down the other dragon just so I wouldn't kill too quickly. I've got a huge lead, especially because I have access to my third ability, so I can really end this match pretty quickly once I meet the objectives. So we're looking at what's going. Now we've got a second Electro Dominance. That's fantastic. And I'm actually going to charge that one up. I'm charging that one up. I'm not casting it though. And I'm doing so. That's pointless. I'm doing so that if I need to, I can kill both of the dragons. So I'm looking at what's here, and it's looking like I might as well just destroy his support, get the extra Planeswalker mana. Just let me spam my first if I want. Getting that Bolas is actually really nice because that gives more card draw. So I'm going to have it swap in priority with the Electro Dominance. I'm going to be able to play it here from the double red because Koth has excellent mana gains. So you'll see that I like to keep as much control as possible in my hand, and I prioritize it. I make sure that, and that's going to be the last piece. So that Ravager Worm is going to be the last piece to completing the puzzle here. So I like to keep as much control in my hand. This is just to destroy gems. So that in the event that my opponent does something, I can react to what they do in a way that is most beneficial for me. Now, I'm playing my third here. You could argue that using the second ability twice would have been a better choice given the board state and all that kind of goodness. But honestly, I'm feeling pretty good about everything. I just need to summon 2 more creatures, and I will be doing that here. So there's the Dragon Mage. Electro Dominance is going to get us mana boosting into the Worm. We're going to go with Haste. We're going to swap out of that Dragon because I honestly don't need it. We still want you to be Haste. So we've got 22. I don't need to use Electro Dominance here, so I might as well save it just in case. I know that it would have drawn me cards, but I don't need the card draw. And that is going to boost the creatures to a fatal amount for Sorin. And so I'm going to freeze everything down. As I said, I like to freeze everything down at the end so that there is as small of a chance as possible for bugs. I'm making sure that I completed all my objectives. I did. I'm at 10, 20, 34, which is enough to kill Sarkhan. He doesn't have anything else out. So that's 1 down, 2 to go. So you'll see that I use my freezes. So freezes, like I disable cards in my hand. I use that very strategically. And it's one of the differences between going perfect and not, is that you're freezing down the cards and you're playing them at the right time. Because just because you have the mana to play a card doesn't mean that it's the right time to play that card. Because if you jump out too quickly, then you might kill your opponent before you complete your objectives. And this is one of the reasons why it's so important to get to level 60 with your planeswalkers, so that you kill your opponents, right? So, all right, so here we are. Here's our second match. I'm using Tamiyo this time. I'm actually going in the order of how much I like the decks. So I hate the Amass objective the most, so that's the one I'm doing last. This is actually kind of unfortunate. I'm flipping the assembles, the Assure assembles, and I'm flipping them so that I'm going to actually freeze you down too. I'm flipping them so that I can get the full mana for them, because if it's on Assure, then you can only charge 5, whereas this charges 8, and so that makes it so that we can use the whole shebang. Now, in looking at what we have here, there's going to be really no good cascade, which is unfortunate. I'm obviously going to be taking the white match at the bottom. I'm just looking to see if there's anything. So the best bet I can do is make the match and then hope that I get a loyalty gem on top, which I do. Okay. So Nissa's Pilgrimage is an obvious choice to scoot on up. So we want gem conversion. Gem conversion is just going to strictly work in our favor here. And I'm going to be making the red match that it's suggesting because it might cascade into blue. It did not, but that's okay. I'm looking at Gideon, that's a 2, so it's not much. This is perfect. March of the Multitudes is great, so I'm going to move that one on up now. I'm moving March of the Multitudes on up because that one single-handedly completes the objective for soldiers and knights and warriors. So we want that. I'm making that in the event that I cascade into white. I did. That charged up quite a bit of March of the Multitudes, which is fantastic. That's almost the rest of it, which is great. I'm going to go ahead and move Karn's Bastion up. And now I want the Days Undoing, but I'm moving Assemble up there, and I'm moving the Assemble up there just in case I want to give the March of the Multitudes tokens the +1/+1 in Vigilance, just in the event that I need to kill something, right? So once again, defensive play. This is just to increase loyalty, right? I mean, it's a combination of mana and loyalty. We need the loyalty too. That's critical here. So I'm going to freeze that one down. I'm doing so that it doesn't play. I didn't want it to play yet because I had a 5 match and I didn't want to destroy shields on my supports. I'm actually going to be making the blue match on the right, but I'm not going for the landfall, and I'm not going for the landfall because it means I get both blue and green. And even though that means that Gideon will be able to landfall the blue match if he wants, that's really not a huge concern to me. Now, Hixis coming out, I do not like. I do not like the Hixis coming down. So I'm going to look at what we have here. We're at 14. So we're getting a little bit closer. Unfortunately, my gem conversion here is all going to be green. So that's not going to be getting rid of, I'm going to get rid of that. I don't need that. It's not going to be getting rid of the nasty bugger. and at 14, I'm really not that close. So I'm gonna do this. I'm just trying to work white gems down over there maybe. And I'm also charging up the Death Sprout because that's gonna help me get closer to my objective that I need for the proliferate. So at this stage, it's looking like, do I want to play that guy yet? I really don't. I'm probably ultimately going to want to play Flood of Tears here. Let's be real. Flood of Tears is going to get rid of Hixus, so I definitely want to get rid of the Hixus. I'm just looking at the play field and determining how I want to do this. So the best possible cascades for me is going to be the green match over here. We're going to get rid of that, so we get another Karn's Bastion. So that's just going to be another of the proliferate cards coming down for the objective. That's a 2/2. I really don't need to worry about a 2/2 at all. When it dies, proliferate, you suck. And now it's looking like, given what we have here, I'm going to go ahead and Flood of Tears, and then I'm going to open up my playfield. We're at 20, so we'll be able to use the third ability next turn. So why don't we go ahead and put the pilgrimage there, because it's going to be getting rid of my pilgrimage here. And then actually I get to play something for free. So the last creature or vanguard in your hand gets full mana. So let's dump you onto the bottom. But when I play it, it's automatically going to boost. Oh well, not a big deal. All these are in the position that I want. So let's just go ahead and get rid of Hixus here. So that's a 5 match. That's nice. So this is going to get all of these guys out. So that's the soldier objective done. And then the bastion should have come out. That should be, all right, so I need one more proliferate card down. So playing the Cavalier of Thorns is going to complete that objective. And so I have now objectively completed this node. So here I'm going to go ahead, charge up the Tristanis, because these are going to let me go and win boom boom next turn. So assuming, yeah, even if he plays Hixus, win boom boom. So unless Gideon plays a board wipe, it's over. So let's see, looking at matches, I'm going to go ahead and take this one. And I'm saying that it's over because getting 2 Tristanis down, they're going to be boosting the whole world here for me. And they're going to be boosting it in a way that's going to be really, really strong. So getting that March of the Multitudes really just finalizes it. I'm making sure that my objectives are done. They are done. And so that should be the end. Blue is my best match just for total mana. I'm making double sure here, and I definitely am done. So unless this crashes, this is 2 down, I believe. And so it'll just be the amass objective to go. So this will be 24 of those little guys, 25, 26. So that's going to be boosting both of them and boosting both of them again. And that's definitely the end of Gideon. So there's the strength of Tristani. She's foolish. She's amazing. That's the end of Gideon. So you saw once again, charging up a lot of removal, just letting the objectives come to me as I'm charging up removal, making matches so that I get closer to my ultimate, because I know that once I get that, it'll be easier to win. So that's 2 down, 1 to go. And so as long as we win this match and we take care of objectives, it will be a perfect score in the bag. So we're up against another Bolas. That's fine and unfortunate at the same time. Bolas is a pain to play against. Let's see what we've got. All right, so this is going to be where you're going to see a little bit of weirdness coming from me. I'm charging up the removal first, as I always do, and then Rawl, and then commence the end game, and then I'll try and use Rawl to just repeatedly copy what I need once they're charged up. So this is actually going to be a great match for getting loyalty and mana. So I like that. Ooh, that's really unfortunate. Okay. That stinks. That was a really big match. All right, and so then he also got the Dreadhorde invasion. So, yeah, I definitely want the Storm's Conduit down here. So with that really big turn, that means that for this particular match at least, this one's going to maybe be a little bit of a close match. So it's always, not always, right? Not for me, but it can be fun to showcase a close match. So if you're wondering why I didn't go ahead and kill the 2/5 right here, it's because I want to be able to use 2 Death Sprouts instead of 1. It's very important that I'm able to use 2 because this dude gives the tokens hexproof, and if I'm going to be Death Sprouting, I need to be able to kill the tokens also. So I'm looking at the board. The board is just a ton of green. I don't like there being a ton of green on the board here, but I'm going to make the red just so that I can definitely get the Rawl down here. And the Rawl guarantees that I'll be able to copy the Death Sprout. And that's also going to be nice because it means that I'm going to be getting 2 lands down. So that's going to be giving me gem conversion. So even though getting rid of my removal is kind of a bad thing here, given that the other Bolas is in the lead, it's going to give me some tempo. I'm not going to need both of these steam vents. And so since I'm getting all these lands down, I really don't need the steam vents. I'm just going to go ahead and play it this way. And let's see, are there any decent matches here? I'm thinking probably not. No, there really aren't. So I don't want to give the Bolas matches, so if I make that green match that it's suggesting, then that's going to give him a guaranteed black match, and that black match could cascade into a blue match on the top, and I don't want that. So I think I'm honestly just going to settle for a bad match for myself, with the recognition that I'm going to be getting 2 lands here, both of which might do some gem conversion for me. So let's pop both of those. I believe they both had a chance to attack, right? Yeah, so they're going to convert on entry. So that's going to give me some mana, which is fantastic. That's going to give me more mana, which is fantastic. So that means I've got access to my first, which is more removal in my back pocket. That's really annoying. That's giving them hexproof. So this is a match where I would potentially be willing to... There she is. Okay, so this is a match where I would actually potentially be willing to play Razia. I'm going to go ahead. Yes, I'm burning out Rawl here. If you're wondering why I'm burning out Rawl, it's just so that I can complete my objective more quickly with Commence the Endgame. So I want that Commence the Endgame to work in my favor in completing the objectives. So I'm looking at matches here. There's really not a whole lot of good for me. If I swap down with that loyalty match, then that's going to give the other Bolas a match that I don't want him to get. This might give me something. Okay, it did. That's good. There's my own Dreadhorde invasion. Those will help me complete the objective. So at this stage, that's amazing. That's great. That's actually super great. So those Dreadhorde invasions will help me complete the objective. And then I need 3 more. The Commence the Endgame in my hand means 2 more. I was silly and played the actual version of it instead of the copy. Shame on you, Nalthazar. That's what you get for being so chatty. I can use that again, and so I might as well just boost the shield since I can't copy a copy. Flood of Tears is great. I want that for sure. If you're wondering, why do I want the Flood of Tears for sure? I want the Flood of Tears for sure because I can actually, I'm going to go ahead and start charging that up. I can get rid of his support, and I want to get rid of his support. I don't like it. So, per the usual, I like to play defensively. Like I said, I like to make sure that I complete all of my OBJs. I'm looking at this. I don't actually need that other Commence the Endgame here. I want to see what else I can draw, so let's make that in case we can break more of the shields on Super Ugly. I can't. So he played another one of those. That's fantastic, honestly. It's fantastic because he's losing a card from his hand, and it's not actively helping him. So I'm going to keep that Death Sprout. I'm looking at what all is here. I'm going to go ahead and let that happen in the event that it wants to happen. I know that it means that I'll get another roll, but it's not a big deal. It's just if I get some kind of weird cascade going. I didn't, which is fine. I'm going to guess that Bolas is going to use his first. No, doesn't want to. That's fine. So unless there's a weird match here, I get to make a 5, and I like that. So I'm going to keep everything as they are. I'm going to make the match. I'm looking at everything pretty critically here, so give us just a quick hot second. Don't want the black landfall, I want this red cascade. So that red cascade is going to do a lot of goodness for us. Rawl, I really can't use you. You're going to get bounced to my hand anyways. So I'm going to be using the Flood of Tears here, and I'm using it because it's going to get rid of Dreadhorde Invasion, so I don't have to keep worrying about it. I know that the Dreadhorde Invasion is going to get bounced to his hand. He'll be able to cast it again, but unless he gets a huge cascade, that's fine. I've got Invasions too. I've got a Razia that'll come down. If he kills it, I've got my ultimate, so I'll be able to just revive her as a zombie, which is fine. I'm not worried about that in the slightest. And so now with this, even though I've got less life, I've now taken control of the match. So that's why I run Flood of Tears, by the way. I've got distinct control of this match. So now Bolas is going to need to pull out something nifty, like a ridiculous cascade. All right, what are you getting? Yeah, you had that in your hand. Are you going to play the support? Yes. Okay, that's fine. Really not worried about that. So why am I not worried about that? Let's go over that really fast. So I'm not worried about that for a few reasons. I'm not worried about it because these dudes have Menace now, which means that they won't be hitting Razia. So Razia is going to kill that Overseer here, which is great. And I'm pretty sure that the objectives are all done. Yeah, they are. So I know that one looks like it's not done, but I'm going to be hitting Bolas here, and so the objectives will be done. Yeah, we're gonna have Razia go like that, and why don't we go ahead and Death Sprout to get another land. Just make sure that we've got all of the manas possible. We want that. And all right, all objectives are done. Now we just have to win. So there's a 5 match on the bottom. It's kind of stinky. He went for summoning the zombie tokens. That was a big mistake. Good on you, Greg. So with that, I can actually go ahead, safely play the other Razia in my hand. The Callous Dismissal in my hand is going to get cast this turn. And so that's just, I'm using Rawls first there so that I can improve his shield count in case I wind up needing it later. I highly doubt that I will, but it's a just in case sort of thing. So the zombie tokens are going to get lifelink. So that's just going to be even more win now for me. And yeah, he should die next turn. So I know that he's at 58 and I've got 1 power out, but when Razia pings him for the support dealing damage to me, that in conjunction with the attack will kill him. And I suppose that my total power is enough to kill him too. So that one looked a little bit scary, but that's precisely why I like to run so much control in my decks, and that's really the primary reason why I'm able to go perfect in pretty much every event. It was a little bit hairy, but that's okay. We ended it out with a pretty decent life total. Definitely perfect. Definitely completed all OBJs. We're good. All right, fantastic. So yeah, this is proof that these decks work. They'll get you to perfect. In the event that you used a different one of the decks, that's fine. I've gone perfect with really all of the decks that I suggested, except for the Origins ones, and those are just for newer players. But yeah, so good luck in getting perfection yourself. I hope you're able to use some of the tips, tricks, decks, etc. that I showed. I hope they're helping you. Yeah, rank 1, leaderboard. Perfect. Yep, cool. All right, well, good luck yourself. I hope you achieve perfection, and I hope to see you in the next one. Have a good one.